What's up, boys?
How we doing? We're a little dusty.
Dusty's already out.
Yep.
Happy Crunchman. How do you think the boys are feeling today?
Probably a little rough.
I got to guess that there is a huge order of Fountain Diet Cut Nice. I'm probably gonna go grab one too. Fountain Diet from McDonald's and some Gatorades being delivered to us to a hotel in New York right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So today we got our resident guest Mayza joining us. I don't know if anybody watched the game last night, but Tim got in there a little bit last night. But yeah, without further ado, I don't think we've had him on once since he's been on the Yankees now. He's you probably remember him with Toronto for a little bit, but bring Tim in. Let's bring the stud in.
What's up, buddy? Hey, what's up, guys? How are you? How's your shin feeling?
Oh, yeah, shin's a little rough today, but we'll be all right.
You got a nice little welt on it, or what?
Yeah, I have like a bruise patch, I guess. Like it's supposed to help like limit the bruising. But I was joking. I was like last night. I was like, man, if I would have just been able to see the future, knew Homer was coming, I may have acted a little different.
Dude, they left you in. They had a long leash on you last night. I was surprised to see you in that come out for the next inning.
Yeah, I mean it's just like where they were in the lineup, and they had, obviously I think the goal was to get them to pinch hit for some of the lefties, and then they had guys at the bottom of the order that they're not going to pinch it. Well, it's like the Mullins-Henderson turn is like neither one of them guys is coming out. But
I wonder if you thought that you were going to have somebody pinch hit for Kerstad or something.
Well, they did. Who did pinch hit for? They pinched it for
O'Hearn. Mountcastle hit for O'Hearn.
Yeah. So, yeah. Sometimes it's like playing that like early in the game. Sometimes it's like, hey, let's bring a lefty in to see if they'll switch to set up for some of the righties in the back end. I mean, we have some guys with like really good changeups. We got music in the back here. we have like some guys in the back end who have like really good changeups. So sometimes those splits are in reverse, and more so talking about like Keenly and Weaver and kind of those guys back there who had really good changeups and aren't as breaking ball reliant to where they can play evenly with righties and lefties.
Yeah, and if you've watched any of the Orioles this year, I'd say our Achilles heel is definitely a changeup. So,
yeah, I mean, and it makes sense, right? Like a lineup stacked with that many lefties, maybe a little more susceptible to righties with good changeups.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I was texting the group chat last night during the game, and I was like, "All right, Tim needs to get 3 clean outs. Get him out of the game. That way I can start rooting for the Orioles again."
Yeah, I kind of got crushed with Homer last night. More so, just in general as a team. And then, obviously you felt like some momentum swing when Soto hit that ball, and then Torres getting thrown out at the plate. You kind of felt like some momentum there, but just kind of the way the game went. I think anytime
How the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, I mean, you look at and sometimes it's like at our ballpark, you get bit by a homer. You don't think about it, but I mean, right center to right field is rather short. But when you're out there, I don't tend to like try to pitch to the ballpark. I pitch more to the strengths. But even, you think about how the lineup's constructed, the Orioles, and it's like, I think it's hilarious. They push that field back what seems like, 100 feet, and then they just stack the lineup of lefties who just like crush right field. It's kind of like, oh, they saw all these lefties were going to come up. Let's push left field back and just get as many power hitting lefties as we can.
I mean, that's exactly what they did.
Yeah.
There may be should be some rules against like gerrymandering your field, but
Yeah.
I'm all for it right now.
Oh, Judge and Vlad are in the division. Let's push left field back,
Yeah.
and then when we'll just stack
Oh,
it
yeah.
with our power lefties.
Yep.
Well, not only that, there was like 15 years there where I felt like we couldn't get any top end pitching because nobody wants to come to Baltimore knowing that that's how it's going to be.
Yeah.
And just historically, whenever we did sign somebody decent, they would put up some of the worst numbers of their career. So I get it. Something had to change a little bit there, but I mean that was a big change, which again, not mad about right now.
No.
What's your experience been like pitching in New York so far? Have you has it been more stressful, less stressful, just a different type of environment? What's that been like?
Different environment. I'm definitely in a different role, just with kind of how the season has gone and the way their bullpen is. I think with the Blue Jays, especially early in the season, I was seeing a little bit more of a leverage role, and here it's been a lot more low leverage. Really up until probably last night. I think last night's probably the highest leverage, one of the highest leverage games that I've been in since being here, and so it's different. I wouldn't say stressful is a word. I mean, every outing, regardless of kind of the score, the goal is the same, and that's to get outs. But I think it's just a little different in a role that I'm in right now, as opposed to like years past, and so that's changed a little bit, and I think here, it's just a little different. The expectations are obviously set. Coming into a team that has World Series aspirations. So different environment, different role. The coaching's been great. I think last night the velo was up, and the velo continues to trend up, and there's just been times where there's certain areas where it's been a struggle from a pitching standpoint, just like sliders, and I think last night I got burned trying to go in on a couple righties where the ball leaks out middle, and I think almost every hit last night was supposed to be a sinker in that gets over the plate, especially the Urias home run.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get in there and to righties, and it seems like the misses are just getting just kind of capitalized right now, especially out over the middle of the plate.
Yeah, every miss I saw was leaking arm side for sure. Your velo was up pretty good last night until I think the second inning it dropped a mile or two.
Yeah,
but I mean, I was surprised to see your slider, cutter, whatever you want to call it right now, up to anywhere from 89 to 91. And you dotted the first one. But yeah, every miss it seemed like was definitely arm side. If you were missing, you weren't pulling across.
Yeah, and the Henderson hit, kind of is what it is. I felt like I beat him on that pitch, and he just kind of hits it down the line.
Yeah.
However, it was like every other hit that happened leading up to that was just a called glove side fastball that he missed out over and missed arm side. So we're just not like, for me, a glove side fastball is a take pitch, especially to righties. It's front hit. I want him to bail and not be able to pull the trigger on it. And last night just caught a lot more of the plate. And kind of when you do that, it's not so much ball to strike, which is what I'm kind of aiming for. Is like I want ball to strike glove side. That way they take. I want to strike the ball arm side and get them to swing, and that's kind of the game that I'd like to play. And so for righties, that's front hip, and obviously it's a risky pitch, but it's a pitch that I've been able to use in the past and done pretty well with it, especially to righties. I think that's part of why we're seeing the struggles this year at times. There's just like that location glove side is just missing by, I'd say, like a ball to two balls arm side, and it's it's in a damaged area.
Yeah, and I'd say like that first batter, I mean, your control was really fucking good. So it was really just kind of like after that, not even it kind of just slowly trickled. But I was listening to the Orioles announcers last night, and they were talking about the difference between from when you left from when you were in Toronto and when you went to the Yankees, and it's funny because we had the whole podcast with you talking about like the whole reason why you chose the Yankees is because they were going to invest into you and try to figure out what things were going wrong. So I thought it was kind of cool to see that they actually brought it up and have noticed it as well and noticed the difference. So, but Brian, you got anything over there since you've been quiet?
No. So I didn't even get a chance to watch the game last night because of some stuff. So I'm just kind of like listening and letting you guys go back and forth about the ins and outs of yesterday's pitching.
Yeah. I mean, it was a fun game to watch for sure, obviously, as an Oriole fan. I don't think Kowser's ball has landed yet. Luckily, he didn't get that one off of you.
Yeah, I mean, it was a, for what both teams had playing. I mean, I think if you're an Orioles fan, you probably foresaw this being for the division and not being, I don't know what they're 4 or 5 games back now. But I mean, it definitely has a playoff vibe to it. I know it's not the postseason, but you definitely see 2 lineups that you can foresee a matchup in the postseason happening. And I think if things stay the same, there's a potential there. I think that would be the bracket is us getting that first round bye and hopefully the 1 seed and then being the 3 or the 4 playing the 5. So it'd be a fun little series, and obviously they have firepower in their lineup, and obviously we do as well.
Honestly, Tim, last night was the first night that I felt, and you bring up like the playoff atmosphere. Last night was the first night that I felt that we played a pretty complete game all the way around in a very long time. Like the defense looked good, made all the plays we were supposed to make. Obviously, we can say that it's a credit to we just got 3 guys back, 3 crucial guys back in the lineup. But I mean, for a while there, our defense was pretty shaky. Defense hitting wasn't there, and it just seemed like, man, that looked like like you said, a playoff atmosphere. Like people were making plays. Really, the biggest blunder out there was the base running from the Yankees yesterday that I can remember off the top of my head. Other than that, it was a pretty solid game all the way around.
Yeah, and I don't know when they had an off day, I think Monday prior to this game. So sometimes those off days come at perfect times to reset and kind of refocus. And I think you saw that a little bit. Not only to mention like you get the off day and then you're coming into Yankee Stadium and playing the Yankees and playing us. And I think it might provide a little bit more of an edge, and now you're rejuvenated. Now you walk in the Yankee Stadium, you're a little bit re-energized. So that could play a part too, where now you're just in a pretty hostile environment in Yankee Stadium, and you could either really narrow it down and focus, or it could go the other way. And so I think regardless of the way the past few weeks have gone for them, there's still a very good team with a very good lineup that any day can turn it on and be dangerous. And I think you've seen that more times than not from the Orioles throughout the year.
Yeah, I agree. It was just, and it's been more than a couple of weeks, Tim. But I think we've all talked about it. Like it's there. It's just like this. It's just been extended here for a little while. But then, and we all know it's there. And last year was such almost like a fairy tale of a season because everything went right. It didn't seem like we were battling any adversity until the playoffs when we got swept. But yeah, so it was just nice to see. I think Birdland for their mental health probably needed to see that as well. But
I mean, you're talking about a young team who, I mean, in the big leagues, how much has that core unit struggled, let alone all at one time? I mean, it's been a couple years really since these young guys have struggled at this level. And sometimes it's like you struggle, you adjust, and then you go on a run again. But I can tell you from an opposing side, we didn't treat them as if any of their guys were struggling. It was more of like a pedal to the metal, like, hey, these guys, we're getting the best version of these guys, and I think that's the best way to look at it. Is
Yeah.
not that these guys are struggling, but to treat them as if they're hitting well, and even when they're not hitting well, there's guys in that lineup who are still dangerous. So
Yeah.
you got to treat it as such.
And even like, what was I going to say? Like even, and we talked about this. I think even with the adversity and how much it sucked to watch, I think it's in the long run, it's going to be good, especially for like a playoff run. Having had to battle through how rough these last couple months are, and it didn't look. Brian, I know you didn't get to watch much of it, but the locker room last night afterwards, and the speech that Brandon Hyde gave, there was a lot of stuff around Birdland. People talking about how he's lost the locker room. The locker room's starting to separate and become divisive, and whatever else they want to say about it. And I just kept pounding the drum, like, you're not in the fucking locker room. You don't know what's going on in there. Like, don't sit here and say, like, Hyde's losing the locker room, because you don't know. Like, you have no idea unless you're in that locker room. So it was frustrating, but it was, I mean, last night was great to see. But yeah.
Spraying champagne? Are they spraying champagne already? Or?
Yep.
Oh,
Tim,
yeah, they were spraying shit.
You already have those like ski goggles ready to go for when you guys clinch.
So we had a little celebration in Seattle when we clinched the postseason spot. I think it was Philly. Philly kind of clinched postseason spot and waited, knowing that the division was close.
Yeah.
Ours was, it was obviously the leaders on the team have that ability to say yes or no, and I think they just wanted to celebrate any accomplishment, and obviously, it's not little. Making the postseason is a big deal, but then you got to kind of refocus, because the next step is the division. So, got 5 games left. I believe the magic number's 1, so we got to win 1 game of the next 5 to clinch the division, and then refocus again, because if you're going to get a bye, you definitely want home field throughout. So I think Cleveland now is maybe a game or a game and a half behind us. So I think it'd be nice to clinch the division and keep playing well, and then get a home field throughout.
Yeah, of course, without a doubt. I didn't get a chance to watch the game because I became completely enthralled in the Greg Maddux documentary, One of a Kind.
Where was that at? Was that on MLB Network? How can I watch that?
MLB Network did it. It's produced by MLB Network, but I actually found it on YouTube, the whole thing. It's incredible. It is. I couldn't take my eyes off. I couldn't even pick up the remote to change channel to watch the Oriole game. Tim, have you seen this?
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh.
I got the family with me, so it's a lot of like Bluey cars. They were watching Paw Patrol this
Pretty good
morning.
shows.
Yeah,
Man.
They tell a story about Luis Gonzalez. Apparently, Luis Gonzalez for the Diamondbacks could actually hit Greg Maddux pretty darn well. So Bobby Cox sends Leo Mazzoni, the pitching coach, out to talk to him, and he's like, "We're going to walk him." He goes, "No, give me 2 pitches. Just give me 2 pitches." He goes, "I think I can get him to pop up to third base." And no shit, the second pitch he throws, he pops it up to Chipper Jones at third base. Chipper Jones says he gets underneath the ball and is just laughing the entire freaking time. And Bobby Cox is in the dugout just so pissed off because he didn't do what he asked him to do. Oh.
Dude, yeah, I can't wait to watch that doc. I saw that actually, like in one of the little clips, the preview clips for the show, and yeah, Chipper Jones was like, because I'm standing under, and I'm like, this motherfucker actually just called his shot.
No, You know, he had a great he has a great statement. He says you try to make strikes look like balls and balls look like strikes, because he knew he didn't have the velocity that he used to when he was an up and comer. And he said he had to really work. And then Tom Verducci, he goes, I've never seen a Picasso, but I saw Greg Maddux pitch. But that was a great quote. I'm a big
great
quote guy, so that was a really cool quote.
That's a great.
That relates really well to what we were talking to Tim just about, like how he wants to start that fastball in on righties as a ball and turn it into a strike and opposite arm side. So that actually works well in our conversation. Good job, Rogers.
Definitely watch it. It's a good watch, like an hour and 30 minutes, maybe hour and 25 minutes. So yeah, definitely check it out.
I'll definitely be watching.
Yeah, and it's definitely something that Tim and I have talked about this when we were in college too, and and we actually read an article about it while we were in college on Greg Maddux talking about this, and it's called like cutting the corners. So, and I said it on this podcast before, but like when I was throwing, I was throwing two seams arm side and four seams on the opposite side or glove side of the plate because my four seam would cut. So I was literally trying to cut, like if this is the outside corner, have it be a strike and cut out, and on this side have it be a strike and cut this way. And Tim's kind of doing the same thing, but obviously he's throwing two seams, so he's trying to do a different version of that on both sides of the plate. So
Brooks, I believe he throws a sinker.
if we want to have this argument, we can. Tim, how do you throw your sinker? Do you throw it like a two seam?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Our friend Antonio is watching. So hi, Antonio, show him, man. Antonio's a lucky son of a gun. He's him and his father have been to all 30 ballparks. So
Nice.
good to see you.
Hell yeah.
Antonio.
Awesome.
That's something I want to get to. I bet Tim, have you made it to all 32 yet? As playing in big leagues?
No,
Like that's impressive.
the only park I hadn't pitched in is Arizona.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, really?
I've pitched in every other ballpark.
What's your favorite ballpark that you went to?
Oh, that's a good question.
I really enjoy Fenway.
Okay.
Okay.
Like
Just
Fenway and
because of the
Wrigley.
nostalgia?
Fenway
Just
is
because of the history of it, or
yeah, and kind of like the atmosphere. Like those fans are into it, and they're on you, and so it's a fun atmosphere to play in. Wrigley Field. Wrigley Field is fun. It's a different vibe, but it's fun. He tried calling me like yesterday, and I haven't called him back. So now
He's pissed. he just texted me on the side. He goes, "How can I comment on this?"
But no, Wrigley and Fenway are. I know they're two old ballparks, but they're very fun to play in because of the fans and the atmosphere that happens there.
Which city had the best food?
I'm like
You're
a
getting called out here, Tim.
yeah.
Crunch.
Yeah.
I gotta put Tim on.
Yeah. I mean, I don't get out like a whole lot for like dinners and stuff just because of the schedules. I'm a big breakfast guy, and actually like Baltimore is like my favorite place to go because of the breakfast around the hotel. Like with Blue Moon Cafe and Miss Shirley's. So those spots make it fun.
Well, it was also nice there for a little while because I was so close to home that the family, all the friends could come as well.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a little trivia for you guys. Ready? All right. Shohei Ohtani has 95 extra base hits this year. That is second all time to only one person who had 96 extra base hits in a season. This person did it in 2013. Can you name it? And we can let it marinate too, by the way.
2013.
Do we get any kind of hint other than 2013? I guess.
American League.
I mean, we're gonna say Trout, but I feel like that's too
Okay.
obvious. Trout's got to be too obvious, right?
Yeah, it is not Mike Trout.
Okay. All right, let's let that one there. Then.
Miguel Cabrera won the Triple Crown around 12 or 13.
Nope.
Miguel Cabrera won the Triple Crown around then, and so did Justin Verlander won the MVP around then. Anyway.
Hmm.
Well,
Justin Verlander did not have 96 extra base hits. I promise.
Pedroia?
Nope. AL East.
No way.
Damn.
You're gonna want to punch your computer monitor.
It's not Poppy.
No.
It is Mr. Chris Davis of the Baltimore
Really?
Orioles.
What?
Really?
There's no
And then
way
he forgot how to
that's
hit,
true.
then he forgot how to hit baseball. I don't understand.
Hey, shit happens. He did that same thing in Texas before he came to Baltimore and had turned his career around, and then seemed like it kind of leaked back to where it was.
Yeah.
What's speaking of the ballparks? I know you talked about the old ballparks. What's your favorite like newer ballpark without taking the atmosphere and stuff like that out of it? And I know you don't get to walk around like the stadium that much, obviously, but what would you say is like your favorite like newer ballpark and ballpark design?
Yeah.
I've been enamored by Atlanta. I really want to go see Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta's cool. I haven't been there in a while. Texas is really cool.
Really,
Like New
I'm kinda
Texas.
disappointed in the way that, but I haven't been there either. So
Yeah, it's massive. It's just massive. Trying to think like Minnesota and Seattle.
yeah,
Like
I like those.
they're kind of like you walk in and you feel like a younger vibe
Yeah,
in those
feels real,
stadiums.
almost.
Yeah. Minnesota's cool. It's just I think a lot of guys are like wondering why they didn't put a dome on it. Why not put a roof on it?
Yeah.
But it is a cool stadium.
Yeah.
And it's a fun stadium. But it gets so cold there that you're like, this place can't even have a retractable roof. But I guess what happened was the space that the stadium sits, like for them to add a retractable roof, they didn't have the space to do it because of like the lot that the stadium sits on. I believe is kind of what the issue was
It's
there.
too small.
Well, they didn't want to pay for it.
Or they didn't want to pay for it.
We went there when it was first built, and I remember we went there when it was first built.
It was
I
nice.
remember not thinking too much of it, but I remember thinking like it was nice, it was new, but it didn't really have like a
something that's
like
stood
Oriole
out
Park
to you.
has the warehouse, something that draws you, something that really stands out and like tells you like you're in this city or you're at this place. It didn't really give me that.
I enjoyed San Diego.
But anyway,
I really like San Diego too.
San Diego's great.
Yeah.
You
know what place has
Speaking of
great playing surface is Oakland. Like the playing surface in Oakland
Really?
is phenomenal. Yeah.
Because that's never been like that was always like,
Really?
down when football was there. That was always like the thing people complained about.
Yeah, no, now that football's not there, like that playing surface is phenomenal.
Tim, I know you don't have Instagram anymore, so you might not have seen this, but yesterday after the A's walked it off, like fans in the stands were breaking off the seats and taking the seats home with them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How about the White Sox winning yesterday and the fans booed?
They wanted to see Henry. Man.
They had lost something like 100+ games in a row when they were trailing after the 7th inning, and they finally won yesterday. It was the first one all season where they were trailing at the 7th inning and they won.
Good for them, man. Could you imagine playing for that team right now?
Oh,
yeah.
Like Ryan talks about it because he's
That'd be
good
fun.
friends with Gavin Sheets,
Yeah.
and he is probably one of the best, if not the best player on that team, and he's just got to be like, get me out of here, man. So
Yeah. the vibes can't be
Tim,
very good.
Tim, how
But
many?
he gets to play with Grady spot for Grady Sizemore.
Yeah, he seems like a cool dude to play for. I'm wondering if they'll actually keep him after this season because, I mean, a lot of those people in the clubhouse probably aren't going to be around next year. But it seems like everybody loves him that talks about him. Even when the Orioles played there, like the announcers were talking about how much they love him too. So, but
Yeah.
Tim, how many days will you be shut down here for now? Probably 3, because that's probably more pitches than you've thrown in an outing in a while.
No, I'll probably get today.
You think so?
Yeah, probably today. I get
Would you
look,
throw
it-
30, low 30s?
30. I threw 40 maybe 10 days ago. And then had a day off and off day and then threw. So I technically 2 days off for that, but I don't know, I'll probably have 1 day off and then I'll be active again, especially with like these guys and the amount of lefties. I can see them.
Yeah.
Who's
your other lefty down there?
Tim Hill.
Okay.
Tim
yeah,
Hill,
you
he
got-
throws weird.
Yeah, he's quirky. He's quirky. But he's been great. Like he has like, I think he has like a sub-2 or sub-1 with the Yankees. Like he has been just doing really well for us. And it's been because he came from, you want to talk about the White Sox, like the White Sox DFA'd him. So, talking to him, he's like the White Sox, who worst team in baseball, DFA'd me. Like they didn't want me, and then the Yankees claimed me, and now he has a sub-2 or sub-1 with the Yankees, and it's like, the game is just this game is nuts, and
it is so weird.
I've actually forgot that it's you two down there, so you guys are going to be going back and forth against the Orioles.
And he's had a couple days off now, so he might pitch the next 2 days just because of the lefties, and then hopefully we've clinched and have done something by then, and then maybe the Pirate series I'll get a lot of work. But I don't know. It's you're always pitching for something, so it's not like I want just 1 day off, or even if they came to me today and said, "Hey, do you want to pitch today?" I'd be like, "Yeah," I'm like, get me in there as much as possible. It's so.
Will they work around? Will they work around pitching schedules assume you clinch and then you end up having a bye? Will they work around? Say Garrett Cole is in line to start the last game of the season. Maybe he doesn't. Instead, he gets that day off, or how is that going to work?
Yeah. I wish I had more experience in knowing how things happen, but we all the times that I've clinched, it's always been on the last day of the season or the day before the last day of the season. So then you're playing up until that point, and then the last day of the season has been somewhat of a bullpen game, or we actually played a doubleheader in Baltimore on the last day of the season in 2022. So MLB made us play even though the doubleheader meant nothing, we were already locked into who we were playing. We were going to be home. That was the lockout year, and they were gung ho on playing 162 games. So they're like, "Yeah, you're playing a doubleheader on the last day of the season because we want everybody to play 162 games in a lockout year." So we did like a starter game 1 and a bullpen day game 2, just like because you have like a lot and it was the wild card, so we had a day off. And then we played the wild card, but they wanted bullpen guys to at least touch the mound for an inning. That way they weren't sitting for so long.
Yeah.
So I don't know, because I don't know where they sit.
Probably whenever
I wish I had an answer. But I could see Garrett pitching 3-4 innings on Sunday, because he also is going to have 5 days off. So I don't know. If he doesn't pitch Sunday, then there's a potential that it's 10, 11 days without seeing a hitter. And I don't know if he's going to want to do that. So
it's probably more
like a shorter start.
He's going on a strict pitch count, I would assume, and just being like, all right, here's your pitch count. Go out and get your work in. And almost
Yeah.
treat them live.
Yeah.
Throw 60 or 70 or something like
Yeah.
that, and then call it a day.
That he's also. I mean, we're talking about a vet here who's been there, kind of done that, and so he may have a big say in what goes on and how he wants to prepare for game one.
I would hope so.
But yeah, we'll see how they, how they attack it, because hopefully by that time, not only is the division clinched, but home field advantage is clinched as well. So I think that number is 4 for home field. But yeah, so we'll see.
I gotta bring this in here for you.
Oh no.
He's a breakfast guy. Although, if I do remember correctly, you're more of like a breakfast croissant, or
I do love donuts. He's not wrong about that.
big donut guy.
I do
Big
love
donuts.
donuts. Or like pastries in general, I guess. So donuts, muffins, croissants.
Like sugar in the morning.
Yeah.
I know,
I got
I'm
a
a donut guy.
vanilla sweet cream cold brew right here. This is my
Hell
sugar.
Yeah. Dude, so I was going to ask you, since the first time we talked to you, I think it was like you had been with the Yanks for like maybe a couple days, or you were probably
I was in Scranton.
still in Scranton. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
who have you been connecting with there since the Yankees have been there? Give us some scoops about the not anything crazy, but about the Yankees clubhouse. Who have you become close with? Who do you like in there?
Yeah. So obviously, like the bullpen, I feel like everywhere it's like the bullpen hangs out with the bullpen. Like you're just like one unit. So I've been hanging out with them a lot. My catch partner's Mark Leiter. So him and I have talked.
That's so
on
cool.
that. Yeah, and then like Luke Weaver sits. I'm in the locker room. I'm next to Weaver and Clay Holmes. So two like back end guys, and obviously Clay's had a lot of success. So just talking to them about things and experimenting and just seeing what I can add and what I can do to get better. Obviously the sole focus a lot was velo based early on, and now that I feel like I've gotten my velo back, it's like, okay, so what can I add? Is there something I need to add? The game, and I think hitters are constantly adjusting, and for a while I've been kind of like this one trick guy where it's a lot of sinkers, 8%, 78% sinkers, and the sliders like been okay. It's been better as of late. I think I'm onto something with the slider, but it's like I've starting to add a little bit of a cutter to get up and in on righties, just because the glove side sinker hasn't been getting glove side. So I needed something to have them respect that I can drive a ball in. So I've been using the cutter a little more. And so it's like, Weaver obviously has a really good changeup. So I'm like, hey, what are your thoughts when you throw the changeup and it's a swing and miss pitch? And it's like the first goal is to get to 2 strikes as quick as possible. But then it's like, okay, if I get the 2 strikes with the sinker, like where do I go now? And what's a swing and miss pitch, or how can I set up kind of the take sinker? When you're talking sinkers and cutters, you're talking pretty big contact pitches and weak contact pitches. So it's like, oh, is there something to be added that can add more swing and miss to my game? Especially being out of the bullpen, it's a pretty big piece, I feel like, of what gets looked at is kind of like, okay, are you getting outs? But okay, where's the strikeout? If we need a strikeout, can you get it? Type of deal. And so Weaver the last month has really been lights out and getting a lot of swing and miss with his changeup, and his four seam at the top, I think, sets that up. So I talked to him and Clay and throw with Leiter, and Cousins and I have grown close. Jake Cousins and I. So we've been talking, but more me, Cousins, and Canely. We talk more fantasy football than we do pitching at times, and Canely's a big Eagles fan, so we connect there. And
That's
but yeah, funny story was like Judge is the captain, and he obviously is respected by everyone in that clubhouse, and really made me feel welcomed. And when he first sat down next to me, guys were like, "Oh, should we take a picture? Like, this is history right here. Like, the guy who hit 61 and the guy who gave up 61." I'm like,
So
yeah,
they called you out on it right away.
yeah.
Right.
And then,
All right. Since you brought it up, do you care if I share the picture you sent me?
no, you can.
Tim, I don't know if you were aware of this, but you got your you threw your 300th inning last night in Major League Baseball.
Great.
How cool is that?
Great. Yeah.
Pretty cool. I was just looking at Tommy Kahnle's stats. Obviously, he's been around forever, and he's only at like 370. So,
damn, that's Tim. You're coming up, man.
Yeah.
Before we let Tim go, or not Hall of Famer, I got 10 baseball names.
Okay.
For what?
yeah. You want to throw those up now?
Hold on. Let me. I'm pulling up.
Brooks, so you
I'm
got it.
pulling up. Since we were talking about Judge and we were talking about the history that he was saying, I want to. Tim sent us this picture that Judge kindly gifted him. I can figure out how to work this fucking thing.
While you pull that up, real quick, I'll start with the Hall of Fame or not Hall of Fame. And Tim, the way this works is I'm going to say a name, and you just say yes or no. We're not going to go into statistics. We can talk about it after I go through. There's 10 names on this list. You just say yes or no.
It's got to be instant. Got to be
gotta
instant.
be quick.
Yes or no.
All right, I'm going to start off
Done.
with Tommy
Let's go.
John.
No.
Fast.
No.
Okay. Don Mattingly.
Yes.
Yes.
Are we all doing it?
Yeah, everybody.
Oh, yes. I
Okay.
thought it was.
One.
I thought it was. Sorry.
All right. Jimmy Rollins.
No.
No.
Kenny Lofton.
No.
Yes.
Dale Murphy.
No.
Yes.
Nelson Cruz.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't like that.
No.
Kind of wish I could change my answer on that one.
I mean, the Rollins one hurts me because I want to say yes.
I know.
growing up a
That's your
Philly
boy.
fan, but yeah.
All right. Billy Wagner.
Yes.
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 How he's
We
not in, I
already-
have no fucking
I
idea.
know. We already argued about this one. Hall of
The
Fame.
best
stuff.
left-handed reliever ever. He's the best
All right.
left-handed reliever ever.
Fernando Venezuela.
Yes.
Valenzuela. Yes.
Valenzuela, sorry.
Yes.
Venezuela.
Venezuela is a country.
Sorry. Sorry. Joey Votto.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, and always the one controversial one, Pete Rose.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. That's your game of Hall of Fame or not Hall of Famer. I disagree with you guys on Tommy John for one reason and for two reasons.
That was the story of baseball.
Contributions of the game, and then two, he has 288 wins and a 3.34 ERA.
Yeah, it might be hard for you guys to see here, but if you have it on the full screen, you can see it pretty well. You don't have to
Okay.
zoom in too much. It says on the jersey, "Thanks for the 8 straight fastballs." What's the story behind? What's the story behind that, Tim?
Yeah,
You wanna
so-
enlighten us.
Yeah. So in 22, when I gave up on 61, I sent a jersey over and I wanted him to sign it. I put a note in. I said, "Hey, can Judge sign this like to Everett?" And I wanted him to write to my son and say, "Thank your dad for the 8 straight fastballs." And so they found that jersey and Judge is like the best. He's an awesome human and just a super humble guy. And he actually, after he signed this jersey, he's like, "I felt bad for putting thanks for the 8 straight fastballs." He goes, "If you want another one with with nothing on it. Like, I'll do it. He goes, it just didn't feel right. And I was like, Judge, like, we shared a unique moment in history. I'm like, if you just sign it like any other jersey, like then I feel like, it's just, there's no meaning behind it. And I said, I it's an honest thing. I threw 8 straight heaters and thought I could get away with it, and I didn't, and gave up 61. But
Hey, I respect you for challenging him.
But
Fuck yeah, dude.
I
Go
did
have
that, and then he ended up signing a jersey for my son as well. So so he signed 2 jerseys for me, that one, and then he signed one for my son, which is really cool. And he's awesome about it. And I mean, the guy he signs autographs for days. I mean, he'll sign for just about anyone, it seems. And so just a great guy. And yeah, that'll be a cool little man cave edition.
Yeah, that's all.
That's awesome.
He got the ball. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome to hear, because I mean, we did hear a little birdie tell us about somebody else who doesn't love to sign autographs, but yeah. So Tim, before you go, I know you got some stuff to do today that's probably more important than we need to do. Thoughts on the Eagles this year, because we're about to pick some games for the weekend.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm confident already.
I am. Saquon Barkley is just like, he's unreal. I mean, if you're the Giants and you're seeing what he's doing, like, you got to be kicking yourself for letting a guy like that go. And
That GM's gonna get fired.
Yeah, I'm also just sitting there. I'm like, man, if the Eagles would just kick a field goal, like, these games would be less stressful. You thought the Falcons game, like, if they kicked the field goals that they could have instead go for it, they end up winning that game. And even last week they won, but I think if they kick a field goal, like, it doesn't really come down to that stressfulness. And I'm confident in them. I mean, they're super talented, and they're, they won last week without, the past 2 weeks they've been without AJ Brown and held their own. So hopefully he gets back and they get back rolling. But they've looked solid. They've looked solid. I think the Saints are a tough team, and the Falcons are tough. I know week 1 they didn't look great, but the past 2 weeks they've looked good, and I'm confident in them. I haven't, like, watched a whole lot. Like, I'll pop in and out just because usually Sundays we have day games as well. So I follow the scores, but I'm an Eagles fan through and through, and it's Super Bowl or bust for me.
Yeah, if Sirianni doesn't do anything this year, he's doing like Staley stuff, where like 2 years ago when nobody was kicking field goals and Brandon Staley for the Chargers was going for it every time, man. And it's like, hey man, you wouldn't be in this situation at the end of the game if you just kicked a couple field goals.
Yeah, that roster is just like, that roster is loaded. It's loaded. So I think offensively they'll be fine. I think they'll figure out a way to balance out kind of the offense with running and passing. And the first few weeks, I feel like this is always like a feeling out process and trying out new things, just because nobody plays in the preseason anymore. So you're trying stuff with your first team offense that you haven't been able to try, in the preseason, and then eventually a few weeks in, you'll start to settle into a game plan that works with that unit.
Yeah, whenever you guys get the Cowboys, run the fucking ball every down.
Yeah.
Like, watch the first half with the Ravens game last week. They can't do dog shit against it. And I know we got Derrick Henry, but our own line the first 2 games has been dog shit. So
the
fact that
I was gonna say the Eagles' offensive line is much better than the Ravens' offensive line.
Yeah. And Derrick Henry's good, but is he as explosive as Saquon these days?
Exactly. He's more of a bowling ball, but he looks good so far, so I'll take it.
Yeah. I'm not saying he's no slouch. Obviously, I think Saquon's probably the only guy you can say is running the ball better than him right now. So.
Yeah. All right, buddy. We'll let you go.
All right,
you probably got some shit to get to. So
I got some family. So
all right.
See you, man.
All right. Yeah. See you. Thanks. All right. Well,
Tim, thank you, man.
See you guys.
Thanks for coming in.
No problem.
The rest of the season, man.
All right, boys.
Yeah, that was Tim Mayza. Thank you again to Tim. Thank you again to Tim for coming on. Awesome. He's so giving with his time, and he's the fucking man. So round of applause to Tim. And we really thank him for coming on, although we hope his team loses all of their last 5 games.
Yeah, he keeps saying, hopefully we've clinched by then. I kept going, yeah, hopefully you haven't.